This is Larry Eiler, and I'm here at Holy Cross Children's Services, where my friend Al Andrini has graduated 50 years ago from Boysville, and he's been talking with some of his buddies about doing an alumni, and today's the day of the alumni reunion. So Al, how did you get the idea, and how did you go about doing all this? It's a lot of work. You volunteer to do something, and then you got to do all the work.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed it, first of all, but I decided that this was my 50th, and nobody was organizing a class reunion. So I picked the date, November 5th, because that's the weekend I was available.
Yeah.
And since I'm going to be doing all the work, I decided to pick that date. So about
it's a beautiful day. Today's awesome.
Yeah.
Sunny day.
So 6 weeks ago, I decided to do this, and here we are today with a bunch of guys, and a third of them brought their wives, and we decided to do a tour of the campus, and then we're going to go back to the hotel and have a dinner.
Now I'm talking with Ken Snooks, who graduated Boysville in 1961. Ken, what can you tell us about your experience at Boysville and what had imparted to you and how you've gone along in your life and different things you've done that were lessons that you might have started to learn or learned when you were here?
Well, I guess if I can describe it in the shortest terms possible, is that it gave me a lot of sense of discipline, and it was a tough experience at first, but I really grew to enjoy the camaraderie of the fellow classmates and the help from the brothers too.
I want to introduce you to Brother Francis, who's going to tell us about this second alumni gathering that's been taking place all day today, and it will be through the weekend here at Holy Cross Children's Services, known as Boysville to most of these fellows that are here today, because it was 50 years ago that they were graduating from Boysville. So, Brother Francis, how do you view the way this is going?
Good. Two areas I think are important. One of the questions people always ask us, what happens to the kids? Does the work produce positive effects? So I think it's really important for others to meet our students. And that's what you're trying to do. So the first thing is to answer the question, what happens to the students? So that's very important. I think it's also very important for the former students. This was their family. They grew up together. And you're always interested in what happened to your siblings, your peers. So I think it's symbolic that after 50 years, young men would come from Florida, Idaho, Montana. So it's just not your average high school reunion. It really is a time for the kids to really meet almost their brothers and sisters who they grew up with. So it helps us, and it also helps them.
And it perpetuates the culture, and the kids today can see what some guys from 50 years ago have learned, and there's some very nice lessons that people learned when they were at Holy Cross, Boysville, and that they're carrying on today through their careers.
Yes, I think. And we're trying to do the same things today. Education's primary, housing folks, introducing them to a God, developing a spiritual development. So our principles are almost the same. What we do for 6 years, you look at some of the books, it's the same thing. Reading, writing, math, going to church, being a football player, and working. I'm sure both groups talked about they had to paint the buildings, cut the grass, who did the cooking, all those kind of things. So it's, the kids tell the same stories for 60 years. So some things don't change.